Namaste, moon sisters and moon brothers. Happy new supermoon in Virgo. Vina Lene here, moon priestess, channeler of the divine, and I am so excited to get started tonight, welcoming you into this new moon energy. So it looks like we still have a few people signing on, and I'm just going to make sure that we're all organized here. And then we'll start to put our circle together. Okay. So I always start our circles, our virtual circles, by actually constructing a circle here in the space that I'm in. And I always bring in all of the elements in the process. And this is always something that you can do as well. Totally up to you, or you can just take in the energy of the circle that I'm setting up right now. And, depending on what moon we're in, I will bring in, different elements to this circle and different energies. And understand that the energy that I'm setting up here can be felt through the ether. This ether is this energy that we're connecting through right now, and it withstands space and time. So know that even though this stuff is happening here in front of me, the energy of it is happening in front of you as well. So I always want to start by bringing in the element of earth, and I like to work with crystals and gemstones. And tonight I'm working with two different ones. For this new moon in Virgo, I am working with moonstone, and I have a moonstone egg here. And I'll just kind of move that around so you can take in that energy. It has a beautiful rainbow reflection. And I'm using this stone because I want to bring in the energy of new beginnings and of creation. And we're going to talk about this a little bit later on, but that's the energy I'm bringing in with this rainbow moonstone egg. And I'm also bringing in the energy of rose quartz. And this is just on the mala that I'm wearing right now. And I'll bring it up close. It's got a slight pink tinge to it, you can see here. And rose quartz works with our heart center. This rose quartz mala actually has a beautiful little gold lotus charm on it as well. But rose quartz helps us to, move from the pure energy of our heart. And that's really important right now as we have such heightened fire energy. And this is something we'll talk about in a bit as well. So these are the two earth elements that I'm bringing into this circle. I'm also bringing in an earth element of American Western pine. And I am going to go ahead and burn this. And I've got to go grab my fire. Give me just a moment here. So this is a brand new smudging stick. I haven't used this one yet, and I thought it was perfect for this Virgo moon energy that we have right now. And I love that it's Western pine because so many of the trees out west are on fire right now, right? And it's pretty disheartening what's going on in nature over there in the West. So, burning this pine, we're just going to, remember the connection that we have to that energy. I know even here in Iowa now, we're starting to have some of the smoke from those trees and from those fires coming over and starting to affect our breathing here. And, this will connect out to the entire world, all of these wildfires. So we're just going to our connection to the earth by bringing in the energy of pine. And this also brings in the element of fire and the element of wind or smoke. And, I'm going to smudge the space, the ether that we're sharing right now, the digital devices that I'm using to connect to you. I'm going to smudge myself. I'm going to smudge the space that I'm in, just kind of purifying all of the energy around us so the space is sacred. And whatever we need to receive as far as guidance and messages, that can come through clearly. And I love saging or smudging because the smoke, it symbolizes the veil in between that we normally cannot see, which is also really important right now. So I'm just going to continue to let this burn out for a moment. And finally, we're going to bring in the element of water. And a little bit different tonight, I'm going to be using a couple of essential oils. So the essential oils that I use are all steam distilled, which means that they contain the element of water. The first one that I'm using is a rose oil. So I'm using the rose quartz to connect to heart chakra. I'm also using rose oil to do the same. And rose is the highest frequency oil, by the way. It's one of the highest frequency plants, and it's really useful for helping to raise our own personal vibration and lift up our own personal frequency. And we can tend to be in a heavier, lower frequency during a new moon. I'm also bringing in wild orange, and orange is related to our sacral chakra, and Virgo energy is very connected to sacral energy and creative energy. And wild orange is also the oil of abundance, and we're going to talk about this as we talk about this new moon. But it's important right now that in such dark times, literally right now there's darkness because we are in this new moon energy, but also in these, energetic dark times, it's important to know that there's still light on the other side, and there's still abundance waiting for us. And so this wild orange can remind us of that. And so tonight I'm just going to be, I've already taken in the rose, but I'm going to breathe in this orange. And the wild orange also brings our senses kind of into the present moment, which is really important to do at all times, but especially during a new moon, which kind of symbolizes this new beginning. So there's your element of water. And I already mentioned the element of ether, which is the fifth element that we're sharing, which we're experiencing right now. So with that, I'm going to take a deep breath and a deep exhale. And our circle is sealed. So I encourage you to use the chat box tonight if you're tuning in live, to put any comments or ask any questions in there. I am just going to click over and make sure everybody's here right now that wants to be here. And then we will go ahead and talk about this new moon. Okay. So we will begin by talking a little bit about what new moons signify in general, and then we'll talk about this new moon as far as the astrological influences, both in the Western tropical zodiac and the Vedic astrology. And I will say that I'm not an expert in Vedic astrology. It's something that I'm slowly learning as I move along, but it's something I've been looking into in relation to the moon for a few years now. And I do believe that the Vedic side can bring an extra insight on top of, whatever the Western zodiac say. And a lot of times they align in very similar messages and guidance, which it happens to be so tonight as well. But let's back up and let's talk a little bit about the new moon. And knowing that our moon cycles, it goes into its orbit every 28 to 29 days. And so this is, or actually tomorrow, if you're tuning in live, this is the new moon. So we're moving into day one of this next lunar cycle. And new moons are a time when the moon and the sun are conjunct. So you can't see the sun's energy because it's being hidden by the moon. And that's why it's so dark right now. We don't have that light shining down at nighttime. So this is a time when it's hard to see at night, but it's also a time when we might feel a little foggy in our mind as well. We might kind of have some mental or some brain fog and feel a little dark as far as like, where are we headed from here? There can also be an energetic darkness as far as our frequency. I mentioned this, and this is because gravity is stronger right now on the earth. The moon plays into our gravitational force here on Earth. And right now, with the position of the moon being where it is, our gravity is more on the Earth side. This just simply means that we feel heavier in our bodies. And when we feel heavier in our bodies, we tend to react to that physically. So we might slouch or slump forward. We might just be more lethargic and tired, be a little lazy. We might not be as motivated to do things. We might be in lower frequency energies as well, because when we tend to be in these postures that aren't so supportive of our alignment, we also tend to affect our mood. So you might feel grumpy right now. You you might have a case of the Mondays, even though it's not Monday. You might just feel, sad, anxious, jealous, frustrated, anything that's more of a negative feeling. You could be going through those emotions right now, and just understand that it's all completely normal. It's really you just aligning physically with what's going on around you. Also know that right now with this particular moon, we're in what's called a supermoon. And supermoons are when the moon is as close as possible as it can be to the earth, if that makes sense. So it's the closest it can be by the earth right now in its orbit. And because of that, we actually enhance the energy of the new moon, and we feel extra heavy. I've certainly felt a little tired today. I, took a nap with my son, and I'm even transmitting from home instead of the studio today because I just wanted to be at home. I didn't feel like getting up and moving around. And I've been doing a lot of resting, meditation, reflection today with this new moon energy coming in. And really that's the perfect time to do those sorts of things. So the new moon makes us feel this way because it's not a time to be social. We can't see outside. It's not a time to be outside. We should be more introspective and turning within. Now, if you're a woman who bleeds, you might also experience your moon time right now. Originally or naturally, women used to always bleed with the new moon. They kind of align with this same cycle. But right now, with modern day lighting, artificial lighting, we tend to bleed more with the full moon. But just know that you could be on this, what we call the white moon cycle, and you could be bleeding right now with this new moon as well. And sometimes that makes you feel a little less energetic, right? It's a time to turn within and rest. So, this is the energy that we're in right now, just from a broad perspective of what's going on with the new moon. And then every new moon also signifies new beginnings. So it's a great time to start again. It's a great time to develop a new habit or new ritual, new routine, to start a new intention, to set a new goal, to gear your energy towards either beginning again or really moving forward. So, take a few days to rest, start to plan, and by day 4 or 5, as the moon starts to wax, you start to see that crescent light. Let that be a symbolism for you to spark a little fire under you to get to moving or get to going towards your goals and your intentions. So this is a perfect time to start over. And I love working with the moon and these lunar cycles because this is so much easier than, making big resolutions once a year or maybe setting goals on your birthday. Plan strategically to set little goals, little intentions, little baby steps along the way towards these big dreams, and work with these lunar cycles and just take it every 28 to 29 days and see, how you can build up from there. Now, every moon has an astrological influence, so all moons have this general energy, but it's also a time when we can look to the specific sign that the moon is in to get a little bit of extra guidance about what is going on in the world and how we can kind of respond into the world with what's going on. So this new moon is in Virgo, and we're almost done with the Virgo cycle. We've got just a little bit longer here, about a week, about 8 days at the time that I'm transmitting this, until the first day of fall. And then shortly after, we'll shift into Libra season. But Virgo season is a time of new beginnings. A lot of times Virgo is represented by the Virgin. And I want you to understand that this isn't in the sexual sense or the chaste sense. This is more as someone who is whole unto themselves. It comes from a Greek origin as far as the word. And it reminds us to claim our own sovereignty, that we can decide when we want to be pure again, that we can decide when we're ready to let go of all of the past and wash away all of our sins, so to say, but wash away, these past mistakes, these experiences that we've had, these lower frequencies, these, reactions that weren't in alignment with ourselves. It's a time to let all of that go. And again, begin new and reclaim your purity and reclaim your sovereignty. Virgo energy is about kind of getting your life together. Okay. So Virgos like to, if there's any Virgos on this transmission, you like to be organized. You like things to be a little aesthetically pleasing. Really just everything kind of has a place where it belongs. You love to plan. You love to make lists, and especially love to make those lists and check them off. You probably spend a lot of time cleaning or keeping your home clean. You don't like it when things get disrupted as far as, you know, where you have placed things, or if you have cleaned and then things get messed up, that can really mess with your energy. Does all of this sound familiar? Well, you know, another great energy about Virgo is that it's a time to plan, and it's a time to really get yourself organized because you're supported in the cosmos to do so. So, you know, we were in Leo energy, and Leo energy is a bit out there. Leos are just kind of wild and crazy and free, and it's summertime, and, you know, the world's ablaze with their hearts fire, and it's just all good, baby, all the time. But there's not a lot of planning and organization. There's a lot of spontaneity. We've moved out of that energy. We've moved into Virgo now. We've got to balance all of that energy out. So it's a time to pull back the reins a little bit on your external energy and turn within, and, you know, kind of analyze where you are in this year. It's been a crazy year, but where are you at right now, 9 months in? How are you feeling about where you're at right now? Try not to view it with judgment, but try to just be able to acknowledge where you are and how far you've come, or, you know, where you're going from here, the path that you're on. It's also a time to kind of make those lists or make those plans and start to organize your life to really support your goals, your intentions, and your dreams. So I mentioned ritual is really important right now. So with this new moon energy, it's a time to envision, you know, ideally, if your day had all of your ritual, habit, and routine in it that supported you and supported your alignment, you know, what would that day look like? And maybe you don't get that perfect day every single day, but if you can envision what that day looks like, maybe you can grab bits and pieces out of that. You can at least schedule them into your day, and you can hope to show up to that schedule to the best of your ability. But you can make a plan. You cannot live your life willy-nilly. You can actually say, okay, you know, when I wake up in the morning, the first thing I'm going to do is I'm going to make sure to meditate for 5 to 10 minutes. And then I'm going to do 5 minutes of light yoga and stretching. And then I'm going to go, you know, take time to read my personal development book and do a little journaling. And this is just an example, you know, but whatever your routine is, and maybe it's your bedtime routine, you know, like before bed, you know, I do my gratitude practice, or I do my mirror work practice, or I do some sort of personal hygiene practice. I do a little yoga. I do some relaxation or some breath work to calm my nervous system so that I can sleep peacefully. I, you know, do everything I need to turn off my tech. All of these things can be ritual, and they can become habit. And now you're supported to really move forward with that. So that's the energy that I love about Virgo, that, you know, it's not about this virgin energy. It's really just about beginning again and knowing that we always have the ability to start over. And it's okay if we've fallen off track. It's okay if we need to shift completely and do something different. We're supported now to just continue on, as long as we make a plan, maybe schedule, make a list so you can check it off, but be able to move forward from here. Now, considering that virgin energy, right? Virgin energy is the potential for creation of life, right? There is a strong potential for that going on in our world right now. We are moving through a great shift. We're calling it the great shift. A lot of us light workers are, and, you know, we're moving into what we call the golden age of light. We're coming out of a dark age. Seems like we've been in a SUPERMoon for a while, for several centuries, and we're coming out of that. But with that shift, you know, we're gonna have to change our ways, and we're gonna have to start to do things differently. And it's okay to start that right now, right? So I think that this Virgo supermoon is really just reminding us to, you know, ground in and to kind of see where we've been, to take a reflection, to have a vision of where we want to go from here, and then actually be in the present moment and really move into the present moment, not only making a plan, but acting on that plan from here. So I'm going to grab a deep breath. I'm going to grab a couple of drinks of water. We're going to shift a little bit, and then we'll talk about the Vedic astrology. Okay, and feel free to put anything in the chat if you'd like. So with this Virgin creative energy and this potential to create a new life, you know, it's time for you to create your own new life. It's time for you to embrace your Virgin fertile magic. And it's a time to allow yourself to really fertilize these seeds of your dreams that you have internally planted within you. Every time you meditate, every time you envision these dreams, every time you physically dream about your future and the way that you want it to be, you're kind of planting an energetic seed within you. And you've got to trust that you have your own magic and you have your own energy within you to fertilize that dream as well. And I will take a little side note to say, if you do want to work harder on your dreams and intentions over the next 4 months as we finish out the rest of 2020, stick around at the very end of this transmission, because I'm going to talk about something that I have open for registration right now. But for now, let's just go back and let's talk about Vedic astrology, just really briefly. So when you go into the Vedic side of things, we talk about the moon being in different nakshatras or lunar mansions. And this particular new moon is in the Uttara Palguni Nakshatra. And basically this means the marriage star. It can also mean the star of patronage or the star of commitment. And you think about that in relation to the Virgo or Virgin energy in the Western side of things. You know, both of these are representing a purity essence, right? So when we are patrons, we are committed and we are loyal. When we are in a marriage, we are in this heart, rose quartz, right? Rose oil. We're in this heart-based contract with another person. And this can be a marriage and a business as well, right? Your heart's desires for yourself to succeed and grow in your business and, you know, pursuing that dream. You sometimes develop a marriage into your businesses as well. But understand that all of these represent commitment. And Uttara Palguni actually is represented by a very ancient Vedic deity named Eriyama. And Eriyama is a god or deity of love and unity and commitment. And, you know, so this energy is about, you know, making the commitment to move forward and making the commitment to move forward from our heart's desires. And our heart is our purest part of ourselves. Our heart chakra is our most pure essence. And, you know, Virgo energy, this virgin energy, it's a pure essence, you know, one who's whole unto themselves. They live from their truth center. They live from their heart center. They live from their heart's desires. They love themselves as they are. They have this complete unconditional love for themselves and their life. And, you know, this Uttara Palguni energy is not much different. We're being reminded of all of the commitments and the contracts that we have in this life, and especially on a soul or spiritual level. So this isn't just your romantic partners. Maybe you are in a marriage, but maybe not. This can also be your soul contracts with your children. This can be your soul contracts with the friends in your life, the people that have come your way professionally that have helped you to grow and evolve and succeed. This can be ancestors that are that have passed at this point, or this can be, you know, relatives that are alive right now guiding you. But all of these soul contracts are really being brought to light now. And honestly, we're being reminded of really what's truly important and really where we should be directing our energy. So it's not a time to be putting our energy out into the world. It's a time to be putting our energy into ourselves and into the soul contracts that are most important for us right now, for our joy and for our alignment and for our support. And this Uttara Phalguni influence on the moon right now is just reminding us that as we move forward with our goals and intentions, to make sure that they're always revolving around love, that they're always revolving around pure intentions, that they're always revolving around results that would, or, you know, to achieve results that would raise the frequency of not only yourself, but the people around you and the world around you, because that's kind of what all of this work on this earth is all about. So I won't talk much more about that, but just understand that right now we have a strong energy of commitment coming through with this moon, and it's really time to take note of our life and look at where we are and make the plan of where we want to go from here and actually start to move forward and take action with it. Okay, Moon Tribe, I want to touch base on a couple of other things that are going on astrologically, and then we're going to talk about the tarot cards that I pulled for this lunar cycle and this new moon. The first one I want to talk about is Jupiter going direct. So Jupiter has been retrograde for several months now, and it has now gone direct. And Jupiter is the planet of growth and expansion. So when I think back to this Virgo moon or this Virgo energy or this Virgin energy, right? It's like all of the potential resides there. This Virgin is so fertile, and such creation can come out of that energy. So we're being reminded right now to trust that we can still create anything that our heart desires. We have infinite potential, just like this Virgo energy. And I think that this is really important right now. So Jupiter, being the planet of expansion, having been in retrograde for a good chunk of this year, we've been feeling stuck. And yes, we've had a virus actually shut down the world, and maybe your own world has been turned upside down, and maybe you're feeling a little stuck about where to go from here. Well, this astrological influence has now shifted. Jupiter is now direct and moving forward again, and we have the energy to grow and move forward from here. So don't dwell in your past. Don't let this past 6 months or so, with all of this chaos in the world, don't let that, continue to pull you back or hold you back. Understand that we're always moving forward, that our energy is always moving forward, that we're always expanding. The universe is always expanding, and our potential to grow is infinite. So trust in the dreams that you still have and in those desires that you still have, and really move forward with them now with that mindset that abundance is still there just waiting for you. The other thing that I want to talk about is Mars retrograde. So Mars has been in retrograde for about a week now in the sign of Aries, and know that Mars and Aries, that they rule one another, and Mars is this planet of fire. And just know that when Mars goes retrograde, the fire actually gets more enhanced. It gets more intense. It burns stronger. And we're putting more fuel to the fire, so to say, right now with this retrograde energy. Mars is the planet of doing. It's pure masculine energy. And again, understand that although you may have been stuck before, you have a lot of fire under you now to move forward. You've got that fire lit right under you. And it's time to really take hold of that spark, let it ignite your soul's flames, your heart's flames, and let yourself really start to develop a passion for the new life that you're creating. I think so many times we dwell in the grief of the past or what we're losing, when we need to understand that we're losing things to create space for so many other better things. So let go of whatever hasn't worked in the past. Let go of what you've had to shift in your life, and trust now, that you're just moving forward in a different way, and you still have a ton of energy behind you to keep moving forward. You can, blaze a trail, so to say, with your new life. Now, with this increase in fire, not only is there a strong motivation to do things and learn things and start to grow and evolve and succeed, but there is also an extra temperament in the atmosphere right now. And you might feel a little bit more heated than normal. Now, yes, this could be actually in a physical sense. There's a lot of fires going on right now, but this is more in the energetic sense. So you might be feeling more anger right now. You might be quick to anger, quick to judge. You might be quick to upset. You might be picking battles more than usual, or you might have people picking battles with you more than usual. And it's really important right now to understand that your energy could easily go in all of these directions and go crazy and burn just like these wildfires that are taking place right now. You know, fire can't easily be contained. And right now we have more fire with Mars retrograde. And then you add in your own internal fire on that with your anger and your rage. And it's just going to keep going. And I promise you right now, Moon Tribe, if you spend this Mars retrograde, which is until November 13th, and if you spend this next lunar cycle that kind of sets you up for habits, ritual, routine, and the way that you're programmed and the way that you operate, if you set up all of this energy with anger and hate and rage and jealousy, and you're engaging in conflict with people, or you're allowing people to feed into conflict with you and you're feeding back into them, if you're feeding into these lower frequency energies, if you're going to war in a way that is out of alignment with the universe, it's just going to keep going, and it's not going to stop until maybe the end of the year. So I highly, highly guide you right now to pick your battles wisely. And I'm going to write about this. I kind of already have, that I just haven't posted yet, but it's a time to choose your battles wisely, because you can still fight the good fight, right? You can still go to battle, so to say, with the causes that are really important to you, that weigh on your heart, right? There's a lot of causes out in the world right now around injustice and inequality, and you know, the importance of protecting the innocence and the purity, right? This Virgo virgin energy, to protect the innocence of our children. You know, so many causes out there, and you can easily get upset and angry and heated and just start to fight with people. And, you know, it's political season here in America right now, and it's easy to get caught up in the politics and just want to fight with people. And it's important to know that, you know, that energy, the more you give to it in that way, it's just going to get out of control. So choose your battles wisely. And when you want to actually fight that fight, do it in a way that's productive. You know, do research and share truth-based evidence to people to help convince their mind in a factual way versus just trying to fight with them and argue with them and insult them, right? I promise you that sarcastic memes are never going to change the mind of somebody, although they make us feel good about our own opinions and our own feelings. It's not the way to fight the fight, right? Sarcasm is not the way. It's a lower frequency. We have to do things out of love. We have to start sharing our own personal stories and our own personal kind of callings on why we feel the way we feel towards the issues that we're fighting for. Share your personal stories and how things affect you. This is a much better way to reach people. You know, we are human beings, and we have these soul contracts with each other, even with the people that we don't know. So don't be afraid to share things that are personal, in the hopes that maybe it will help you create that change that you see in your mind, that you envision in your dream future, you know, in your utopia. Right? And I promise you that the more that you not only do it in this lunar cycle, but in this Mars retrograde as well, that you use your fire to battle with peace and love and purity, I promise that as you move forward, not only now, but into next year, when we continue to navigate a really interesting shifting time, you're not going to feel so pulled in every which way, and you're actually going to have a more peaceful, harmonic life, because you've already put your energy towards that, and the law of attraction must give that back to you. So you don't have to live in chaos. You don't have to live in this confrontational universe. You don't have to live in constant war with one another, you can actually live a pretty peaceful life, even when the world seems topsy-turvy around you. But it starts with the things you do now. And it starts with the rituals and routines that you do right now, including how you respond to the things that are calling you. Okay, Moon Tribe, I think that is all that is going to come through for now. I'm going to take a few deep breaths. Feel free to put in the chat anything that's coming through. I'm sorry I keep scratching. I've had a little bit of an itchy area right here today, and I know that's energetic, but I haven't been able to figure it out yet. So take a moment in the chat if you want to put anything in there. I'm going to take a few deep breaths, grab a drink of water, and then if we don't have anything to talk about, I'm going to move forward with talking about the tarot cards that I pulled, and then we'll seal our circle. I'm just going to check the chat. Okay. So don't see any questions, which is good. I always take that as a good thing. It means everybody knows what's going on right now, or feels like everything's resonating with them. I do hope these messages serve you. So if you are new to tuning into my circles, just know that, I've been gifted this name, Veena, this spiritual name. I was gifted this in India about 3.5 years ago, and it means channeler of the divine. And I truly embody that when I hold these circles. For a long time, I had a dream of holding these circles, and now I'm doing it. And I don't really prepare. I understand the astrological influences, but then otherwise it's just whatever wants to come through from the universe and from the divine. So I hope that it serves you, whatever is coming through. And now we'll bring in some extra guidance from the tarot, which is something I always do with the moon as well. So, by the way, this is just coming through actually. So one thing I wanted to mention is the veil is quite thin right now. Remember this Uttara Phalguni Nakshatra, the Vedic astrological influence of the moon, these soul contracts that we have with our ancestors. The veil is very thin right now for our ancestors to come through. So if you've been dreaming about your ancestors, or if you've been feeling your ancestors around you, just know that this is a time when they're here to protect you. It's hard to explain, but I've been doing a lot of Reiki sessions. I've been doing a lot of energy healing with people. And one thing that I've been seeing in these energy healing sessions is not only ancestors that are coming through, but also the deities and the angels and, all of these entities, some that we haven't even discovered or understood yet, that we will in the future. But they're all here right now, and they're really upholding our Earth, our planet, because our planet is going through a major, major change right now, not only naturally, kind of in a natural chronological cycle of the universe as it does so, but also just with the energy of the influence of the people on this planet. We're going through a major shift in how human beings are going to operate on this planet, and the ancestors are coming back through to uphold us during this change and to protect us. And in fact, if you're in India, you might be celebrating a holiday today where you really honor rituals around honoring your ancestors. But this is a beautiful time to connect with your ancestors, to call upon your ancestors. Understand that they are always there, but when you call upon them, they will specifically be there for you, as they can be everywhere all the time. So don't be afraid to call in the protection that you need as you make these shifts, because sometimes it's scary to make shifts into a new life or a new routine. And when you make changes within yourself, or changes in how you do things professionally or spiritually, or philosophically, it's how you think about things and the way that you feel with your opinions about things. When you make those shifts, it can be a little scary. So, call upon your ancestors, call upon your angels, call upon the protection that you need to uphold you as you move forward, and understand that you really are supported to make these changes that you're ready to make. Okay, I know that was what needed to come through. Let's move on to the tarot. Okay, so I have pulled 3 tarot cards for this new moon in Virgo, and I typically pull a past card, a present card, and a future card, and I just ask the universe to bring in whatever guidance that needs to come through. So I pulled these cards shortly before our moon circle, and the first card that I pulled is the Six of Swords. Six of Swords. So swords always represent a separation or a cutting of ties. And it's interesting that the number 6 is coming up because it's been about 6 months since we last had a moon in Virgo, and we had the full super moon in Virgo back in March. And, that was a time of a new normal, new beginnings, right? That's right when the COVID shutdown started to happen, and our world really started to turn upside down. So it's interesting that as we pull the past card, it's giving us the 6 representing these past 6 months that we've navigated through. Now, the Six of Swords in particular represents our distancing or separation from our current life or our current way of doing things, or the people that are in our life. It's a separation of that. It's a distancing of that. Sometimes it can even signify like taking a vacation. And a lot of people are taking little 2-week vacations right now when they get the sniffles or anything. But we've been on this hiatus, and we've been in this darkness, and we've been in a time of distancing ourselves from our ways so that we can move forward in a different way from here, a way that is more supported. When we pull sword cards in tarot, it's reminding us that these separations we create are for our greater good, and they're for our evolution. I almost like to think of it like we're in a hot air balloon, and that hot air balloon is tethered down to the ground, but there's so much beauty in the sky and so much insight and wisdom that will come once we rise up and we take this bigger picture. But we have to let go of what's holding us back first. And so we cut ties with things so that we can lift ourselves up. We can feel lighter. We can begin to float and feel free. So the Six of Swords is reminding us to look back, to take this introspection of the past 6 months, this crazy, unexpected journey that we were forced upon, and ask yourself what you've distanced yourself from for your greater good, because it's cut. You don't want to retie it, right? You've cut it completely. You haven't just let it fray and unwind. You've really made distance with some things that you want to change from here. So as you move forward, feel supported to continue to not let those things continue to tether you back to your old life or your old ways. You want to start to rise higher. For our present card, I pulled 7 of Wands. And as we move into this next lunar cycle, we're going to be moving into more of the 7th month, this month post 6-month shutdown, right? And 7 also represents the 7 suns. Actually, I think we pulled a 7 card on our last transmission, but it can be the 7 suns. It can be the 7 chakras. It can be any sort of representation of this holy aspect, 7 days, ritual and routine, week by week, right? 7 asks us to stay with it. The 7 of Wands, well, let's talk about the wands. When you pull a wand in tarot, the wand represents your own magic and your ability to create, okay? So right now, this 7 of Wands is reminding us to stay in the present, and the more we stay in the present, creating our present how we want it in our future, the more we're going to create that magic and attract that to us. Now notice the green on the card followed by the yellow surroundings. Okay, green is your heart chakra. We've got so much heart energy into this moon right now. So telling us to follow our heart's desires and our inner heart's truth of like what we need to do right now. Being really honest with ourselves and saying, okay, these are the things I need to do, the things that I haven't done, how I've fallen off track. This is what I need to do to move forward from here. Also understand that when you start to stay present and you really tap into being present, creating these rituals and routines that support you, you create more alignment. The number 7, you align your chakras. You feel more emotionally stable, energetically stable. And so you tend to feel more positive. So you can create your own peace and your own calm in this world that continues to be chaotic. The yellow of this card signifies your solar plexus. Your solar plexus is another place where you hold your internal fire. Your solar plexus is the fire and drive for you to show up to what you need to support yourself every single day. Solar plexus are your habits, your rituals, routines, your work, the work you need to do to stay stable. It's your core. It's your center. Okay? So this is the energy right now with this present card. Stay present to be present, if that makes sense. Moving on to our future card. Our future card is the 5 of Pentacles. Oh, I have one more thing about the 7 of Wands, okay? The 7 of Wands also signifies that things might feel challenging right now. So you might feel stuck, right? The supermoon energy, gravity is strong. You might feel stuck reflecting on your past, the past 6 months and how it's affected you. How can it get any better from here? This is a new normal. You don't have to accept those things. The 7 of Wands remind you that things are challenging right now, but you still have the fire to keep moving forward. So don't stop. Keep going. Okay, and bringing in the future card, we have the 5 of Pentacles. Now, Pentacles always represent abundance, and we've had a lot of Pentacle cards that we've been pulling lately for our lunar cycles. The 5 of Pentacles in particular is going to represent abundance over loss, okay? So this means 2 different things. The first one is that you might actually experience a loss in the future. And I don't want you to bring judgment to this, and I don't want you to bring a lot of worry. It could be a very, very small thing. It could be a big thing. It could be financial. It could be something different. But if you experience this loss, remember what I said earlier. When we lose things, it's to create space for newer, bigger, and better. Okay, so the loss is creating space for you to gain more. Now, that might not be the case for this card for you. The other aspect of the 5 of Pentacles in the aspect of loss is to simply remind you that although you feel like you have lost everything, or you feel like you're going to lose things in the future, the truth is you are not. And the truth is you are so abundant. There's so much abundance and gold and glitter waiting for you. You just have to embrace that mindset. Now, pay attention to the colors of this card as well, right? We have this yellow again, representing our solar plexus, reminding us to continue to show up, because this is how we create our future, right? This is how we create stability in our future. But the orange here, the orange is sacral chakra. Remember how I brought in wild orange into the oils, or into the water element of our circle. So this orange represents creativity. This is your sacral chakra. This is the womb space. And I mean, this is an energetic aspect. So male, female, we both have an energetic womb space. But right now you're being reminded that you have the potential to create whatever future you desire. And that future can be full of abundance, no matter how you feel right now, no matter how much you've lost, no matter how much you may lose in the future. Understand that so much more is waiting for you, but you have to embrace that mindset. And that's really what it's going to come down to. So when you show up, every single day to your habits and your routines, you have faith that there's a future, and you have faith that these things are going to support the alignment of that future. And then that future slowly starts to show up in your life. I think these are really beautiful cards right now. And they really support the energy that's going on right now. The 6 of Swords in the beginning, talking about our past, looking at, again, the pink is the heart chakra. And, this might be representing soul contracts that you've distanced yourself from. and severed any cords that you've cut in the past 6 months or so. The red represents root chakra. You know, we're at this foundation of a new beginning, but with that foundation of a new beginning, we have to let go of the old. So we have to cut ties again to rise higher. Okay, I don't even think I need to say anything else on these. I think that they're self-explanatory. I think really beautiful cards for our lunar cycle. We're being supported over the next 28 to 29 days to really stay grounded, to find foundation, and to create our own calm. So I highly suggest you take this time to declutter your home spaces, to create sanctuary for yourself, you know, maybe have a place where you go to meditate and create that peace, a place where you can do your routine. If you need to make a list right now, if you're a list maker, it's a good time to create lists and to-dos, maybe things that you can check off every day to remind yourself or motivate yourself to, you know, show up to these things that you want to show up to every day. And, you know, don't forget to dream. This is the perfect time to continue to envision your future dreams, to dream journal, and, you know, to write out your future as you see it and see what you can leave and incorporate into the now. But it's all coming down to embracing your infinite potential, to create your own reality, to grow within this darkness, and to not let anything hold you back from here. So with that, we're not going to do any meditation or breathing tonight. We're right at the hour right now, so I want to respect everyone's times. But I do encourage you to go check out one of my videos on my YouTube or my website and find a relaxation. In particular, see if you can find a yoga nidra. I think I have some on my YouTube channel. It might be on the Vina Lene channel. I also have a Mother Moon Yoga YouTube channel, but find a yoga nidra or a 20 to 30 minute guided relaxation. And I encourage you to tune into that right now, because it's a beautiful way to turn off the distractions of the external world, to honor time, to tune within, and to really envision your future dreams. It's also a beautiful way to connect to this deep, strong gravity and apana energy that's going on with this super moon right now. It can really give your body a reset by helping you to release tension all the way through. With that, we will seal our circle. We're going to take 3 deep breaths. I'm going to check the chat before we take those deep breaths. Vimy says, my birthday is in this time and I've been feeling to go inward, learn and create more. This all makes sense to me. I love it. Yes. Yeah. And I love that it's your solar return as well, right? So you really have the fire. You have this Mars retrograde fire. You've got your solar return fire. And now you've got this new moon in Virgo supermoon fire, which is really awesome. So Vimy, I totally encourage you to do those things that you're feeling called to do, to turn within, to really embrace your creative energy and see where you can put that, and see what comes out of it. And, you know, that's how you stay stable. You show up to these things instead of showing up to the things that pull you away from that inner peace. It's beautiful. Thanks for the feedback. Okay, Moon Tribe, feel free to send me a message on how this moon is affecting you, or feel free to leave a comment on how this, you know, moon circle, any guidance that has come through, if it's supported you, or if you have anything else that you want to say, feel free to leave it in the comments if you're viewing the replay. And I just want to send you so many blessings on this new moon in Virgo. We will meet again for the full moon in Aries, a bunch of fire energy coming forward. And we will be coming up with that, I believe, on October 1st. So until we meet again, let's take 3 deep breaths. Let's inhale, reach the arms overhead, open mouth, exhale down. 2 more breaths. Letting go of any tension. And thank you so much for tuning in, sending all these blessings on this new moon. Namaste.